What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash, and today, first video from my new crib. Pretty excited. I moved yesterday, and yeah, moving went well. I'm excited to get out new content. First video we are gonna do is the first part of a three-part series. It's actually a versus battle. So, first contestant will be Luke Skywalker, Legends EU Luke, versus Naruto's Sasuke Uchiha. So in this video I will be going over Luke Skywalker, some of the stuff he's bringing to the table. The battle has already been animated, so as soon as I finish my research for Sasuke, going over Shippuden, I'll get his video out, then we will get to the battle. So make sure to hit the like button on this before we get started. And with that being said, let's begin. So Luke Skywalker is the son of Anakin Skywalker, who was considered the chosen one and one of the strongest force potential users in the universe ever. By the time of the Yuuzhan Vong era for Luke Skywalker, he was considered the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy and should by then have surpassed even the likes of those like Yoda, who was able to contend with Darth Sidious, who's considered a black hole in the Force. Some of the abilities of Luke that he demonstrates over time includes being able to turn his body into a maelstrom of power, filling his whole body with energy. This came from the New Jedi Order run. His precog was so strong that at one point he actually stopped using it because it was too easy. He said, quote, he knew where they would be and what they wanted to do. A parry here and a stroke to the head or a block, then a riposte to the heart. So he actually would stop using precog because it made fights way too easy for him. He's able to conceal himself and see people trying to conceal themselves through the Force. He's life sensitive down to the last insect on a planet. He has the use of Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint allows you to see the world and your opponent's like diamonds or crystals, and in the little fragments of the crystal is where their weakness is. He can see his opponent's weakness and be able to act upon that weakness. Through the Force, Luke can become immovable. He could be facing something like the vacuum of space or a blast, anything, and he can become immovable to it, knowing that it's coming. He can cause both internal and external illusions on regular people and Force users. He can cast invisibility upon himself and other items, such as if he's flying in a ship, and then he can project himself in that ship somewhere else. He did this in Dark Nest 1. Some creatures he fought that were supposed to be able to neg the Force, like Force wouldn't work on them, he actually bypassed the negation and the durability and the immunity and was able to hit them anyway. With just a simple tap into the Force, he can refill his energy. He can casually rip apart machines that were able to throw around moons. These machines were called Dovin Basils. If you're looking into where it came from, this is the Yuuzhan Vong era. By the way, a lot of these are novel excerpts, so I'll probably just screenshot from my scan section and post it. He was able to combat pretty easily even early on in his career Lord Nyax in the New Jedi Order run, and Nyax stated that through power, such power as no being alive ever felt, he could reach down into the world, reach through the false crust beneath him, through the natural stone beneath that, all the way to where the stones turned to fluid and where superheated metals ran like river water, and he could crack the world in two, move on to the next planet and crack that one too. So pretty casually for him, he feels he could break worlds. And at that time, according to the legacy of the Force, he was not even demonstrating a quarter of his power, able to combat beings like that. Vistara, who was a person, a Force sensitive that had been around the likes of avatars of Abeloth, who was able to compete with son and daughter, stated Luke was the strongest she'd ever been around, which is very impressive. He could force even beings that either scale to Darth Sidious or above to see Force illusions, which of course was Jacen Solo, who turned into Darth Kaitis, one of my favorite characters ever. Luke could even deceive Jacen into fighting a fleet that wasn't there. Once more, he would go on to demonstrate high tier precog movability against the Hidden One, who was in some runs compared to the Emperor with his lightning, and then he actually one-shot the Hidden One with a physical blow. He fought Abeloth beyond Shadows, in which their battle transcended the physical and they fought across every plane of existence, and he was able to tank her hits in Fate of the Jedi, as well as fight her back and punch her and her essence. Like, he punched both physically, spiritually, mentally, all that. He actually got Swiss cheesed in a fight, in which he had a dozen fist-sized wounds, including one around his chest, and he was able to keep fighting through it. Didn't bother him. Just one punch was able to crush Abeloth's ribs. Abeloth scales above a Darth Sidious, who was threatening to consume the entirety of space itself with the Force Storm. So you could lowball this to just galaxy level, like he was going to consume the space of a galaxy, but it would make more sense that it was universal, because all of space would be all of the space in the universe. He can react to characters who can teleport. For example, Abeloth was teleporting and he had no problem reacting to her. This happened in Fate of the Jedi Allies. He can neg energy and absorb it as well. His teleportation that he develops in Fate of the Jedi is actually very potent. So what he ends up doing is he walks and teleports before he knows he has to teleport. So the Force will actually teleport him to the best place to be at the right time in combat. So it's not just him like being conscious of teleporting, he subconsciously does it through the Force, and it puts him on the best place to fight. He can attack you on an astral level, rip you apart on an astral level. He uses a technique called minotherapy. It's compared to him like performing surgery on you, amputation on an astral level. He can either use this to free people from being possessed or to attack people who are possessing. This happened in Fate of the Jedi. He fought Abeloth and overpowered her existence. Not only at this point was he doing that, but he was also tanking getting force drained by Darth Krayt at the same time. He was able to no-diff Kaitis when he was pissed off. Like I said, Kaitis scales to Sidious at least. Simple blast, he was able to throw away Abeloth. Abeloth tried to tear him apart and like actually tried to, in what I believe to be existence erasure. And he was able to fight this off. Let me go ahead and read you this exact quote. In the next thought, Abeloth was simply there in front of the stranger, driving a ball of tentacles deep into him. Luke sprang forward to help and felt a blistering iciness slide deep into his own chest. His entire right side flared into cold anguish, and the tentacles began to dig and grab, tearing him apart in a way no lightsaber or blaster could. There was no crunching, no physical sense of impact, only force energy plowing through force energy, sending waves of pain and damage rolling through them both. So she was trying to destroy his essence through the force. It wasn't even physical at that point. Abeloth, for reference, was able to fight and beat son and daughter. Father had to interfere, and the father said, this is how he described the power to Anakin Skywalker of son and daughter. You cannot imagine what pain it has to have such love for your children and realize that they could tear the very fabric of our universe. So yeah, that is the power of Luke, fighting characters that are either galaxy to multi-galaxy to even universal plus, showing a plethora of hacks. Of course, he is an accomplished lightsaber duelist, even in his younger days being able to compete with someone like Darth Vader, who has basically studied every form of lightsaber combat. He's a hand-to-hand specialist, often one-shotting his opponents with how good he is with his techniques and how strong he is. Well, anyways, let me know what you think. Tell me if you are excited for this battle. The animation is awesome. Sasuke Uchiha will be at his full power. Luke Skywalker will be at full power, and we will have two absolute monsters duking it out. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy Sir Splash. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.